Shalom Rastafari, Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the kings and the queens and the earth. How's everybody doing today on this hump day? Hope everyone's having just a great week again. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. And, you know, the close ones, I appreciate you always being there, showing support, and giving me your opinions and giving me your time. And even when I, call or reach out or for some, political stuff that I'm feeling a certain way in, I appreciate you for calming me down and being that good friend that we all need. But today I just want to be a little bit brief and some things that I have seen. And I'm not going to be calling out any names just because I don't feel the need to. I feel that both sides are in this situation are guilty of this. And I think that we as a people, I'm talking to my own people, the Black nation, need to really be aware of this also. And this title of this talk is Ride for Those Who Ride for You. And I'll break that down even into like a mental situation, or I'll break that down into a, social aspect as well. So ride for those who ride for you really just means at the end of the day, give the same energy someone's giving you, but on a bigger scale or a political scale. I think that we have to be careful for, not just, helping people out or spreading awareness for people who ultimately don't spread awareness for you. Obviously, if you're giving someone all this energy, right? And they turn around and they say thank you, they appreciate it, and then when it's time for the energy to be reciprocated, they do nothing about it. Matter of fact, they go somewhere else and give that energy to somebody else. Or, overstand it to the point of, somebody else or something, some other entity giving energy or asking for awareness, asking for energy, but then when that same thing or when something similar happens to you, they're quiet as mice. They're not giving you the energy at all, but they always want their energy to be talked about. So that's why I said when it comes to this situation, this war in Gaza, it's literally how I feel. And I'm leaving it at that because I'm so glad that I talked to some people this morning before I got on here. And what you see is horrible. It's horrific. There always needs to be empathy for children who are being caught up in this situation. That is first. Now I take a step back and say that there is nothing that is right about that. There's nothing that is, to me, justifiable about that. However, as a Black man in the Africa diaspora, this has been happening in the African continent for decades. And there is not one response to it. There's been calls out, there's been signs, there's been things being said, and they have left Africa and other nations to just pretty much fend for themselves or go on their own and do what they're supposed to do. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to sit here and speak on people who ultimately at their heart could give a fuck about Black people. And I'm gonna leave it like that. And I'll be short and sweet with it because I really don't care about offending anybody anymore, but I definitely don't want to be incorrect in what I'm saying. I definitely don't want to be, if I don't want to really, I don't really care. If the truth is an offensive thing to you, then be offended. But it's the facts. I've seen way too much, coming. I'm not going to talk about who, but I've seen a lot of awareness on this issue on both sides. And I want to just say that when it's the Black time, when we are getting killed, when we have situations happen to us, when we have our teenage men killed in the street by police, nothing happens. When we have our Black females also getting manhandled and being unalived by police as well, nothing happens. When the countless racism and systematic things that are happening that are bold now in our country, when we are attacked in our own neighborhood shopping at the grocery store and a man comes in with a swastika and nigger on the AK, what are we supposed to do? right? And we spread this awareness and we happy. But when it comes down to it, we're like the only ones that are spreading the awareness for ourselves, because it's almost like if anybody else speaks on it, then it's an atrocity. We've seen the footage of how they on both sides treat specific people in both their countries. So it's kind of harsh for me to, well, I'm choosing one side because I'm not scared of going up against the Zionists. That's fine, but then the other side doesn't give a fuck about you either, or vice versa. You know, I'm going up against the Zionists. Both sides. If you're a black person in the middle of this diaspora, no one cares about us in both these sides, and that's the truth. I don't, that's factual. I'm not scared to really speak on that, and I dare someone to prove me wrong, because I've been to both protests. I've been in these streets, and I've been in a protest for a brown family who was unalived or murdered by a white racist who even laughed after he hit them. He laughed. They caught him, and he unalived or killed 4 people and left one person there to defend for himself. They killed basically the whole family, and then the 5-year-old son was left there. The whole family just done. We protested. We walked, all right, from, literally 6 kilometers or 3 miles from the accidental site to the mosque, and everybody was there. Palestine, everybody was there. I got this on tape. I got it all on film. If everybody want to justify my situation, I film this stuff, and I don't put it online too much because I'm waiting for somebody to question. We were right there. Security forces with the BLM, we were right there. Now, when it was our turn, we didn't see the same reaction. As a matter of fact, we saw none of them. So that's just one little small example. And that's just not one group I'm pointing out. There's a bunch of groups that we've always written for, and they don't ride for us. I will say this is why I have a connection with my indigenous cousins, because I've seen them bang for our cause as we were banging for theirs. I've seen it. I've seen it for myself. I've seen it face to face, not on TikTok. I've seen it physically face to face. I see them spray paint BLM right on their own blockade. Okay? Overstand that they were already having a blockade. All right? And during their protest for solidarity or what was going on their land, they in turn added to their situation by putting Black Lives Matter on their blockade. And I don't want to get personal, but they were spray painting it, calling my name. This is in Ganawaki. I had this on film. And that was just one of the examples. So at least and every protest that we had showed up to, you saw a Mohawk flag there. You saw an indigenous flag there. You saw an Iroquois Confederacy flag there. I'm not saying anything else, but I didn't see no other flags there. So rock for those who rock for you. In this time and age, this is who we have to be. And I'm not saying don't spread awareness. I'm not saying don't call out atrocities. But when you push so hard, just make sure you're pushing for the ones who are pushing for you as well, because we can't afford to have exerted energy on people who don't give a fuck about us at the end of the damn day. I'm gonna get off this thing because I'm gonna get off because I get really, not agitated, but I really get passionate about it. And I will hope people who are listening, please enlighten me or show me different. Please, I'm begging for you, some of y'all, to literally prove me wrong. But I don't think I'm wrong at all. That's how I was feeling. And trust me, shout out to the homie Steve, because he knows this conversation could have went way more extreme. But I still wanted to say it, and I still wanted to add in again, appreciate it, because he also said there should be always empathy for when you see what's happening to children. Absolutely. I'm calling that shit out all day. But do not turn a blind eye when something like things, well, no one's bombing y'all. They already did bomb us. Black Wall Street. Don't get it twisted. You don't want to go through the atrocities that's been happening to us in the past 4 and 26 years. That happened to kids as well. Don't. The youngest person put on death row in this entire country was 13-year-old black teenager. I think he was actually 12 for a false crime. Hello? Anybody want to respond to that? Okay. You have a good day.